Months passed, and the trial period for the Universal FTL framework drew to a close. Humanity's efforts had not gone unnoticed. Across the galaxy, opinions began to shift as more species witnessed the benefits of collaboration. The monitoring network functioned smoothly, reducing accidents and preventing misuse of faster-than-light technology. Ships from different civilizations traveled safely through the stars, their journeys guided by shared rules rather than fear or suspicion. Rachel Moore stood before the Galactic Council once again, this time with confidence in her voice. "We've proven that working together is possible," she said, addressing the gathered delegates. "This framework isn't perfect, but it shows what we can achieve when we focus on unity instead of division." Her words were met with applause from many factions, including the Krillians and the Avon Collective. Even some who had initially opposed the idea now acknowledged its value. Zorath, the Krillian leader, rose to speak. His tone was measured but approving. "Humanity has earned our respect," he declared. "You came to us as strangers, yet you've shown wisdom beyond your years. We welcome you as partners in shaping the future." The announcement sent ripples of excitement through the chamber. For Daniel and Laura aboard Aurora *, watching the live broadcast, it was a moment of triumph. Their work had opened doors they never imagined, bringing humanity closer to the galactic community. But General Vrax remained defiant. He stormed out of the session, vowing to continue opposing humanity's rise. Though his actions worried Rachel, she knew his influence was waning. More species were choosing cooperation over conflict, inspired by the progress they'd seen. Even within the Zarnuk Empire, voices of dissent emerged, questioning whether Vrax's hostility served any purpose. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted as news of the Council's decision spread. People around the world marveled at how far humanity had come, from a small planet tucked away in a quiet corner of the galaxy to a respected member of an interstellar alliance. Governments and organizations pledged support for ongoing projects, eager to contribute to humanity's role in the cosmos. Daniel and Laura returned to NASA's research facility, where they continued refining their theories. With help from Kyra and other alien scientists, they explored new possibilities for FTL travel. Together, they envisioned technologies that could push the boundaries even further, projects designed not just for exploration, but for improving life across the galaxy. Rachel, meanwhile, became a symbol of hope for both humans and aliens alike. She championed initiatives aimed at fostering understanding between species, believing that diplomacy was key to lasting peace. Her speeches emphasized curiosity and courage, urging everyone to embrace the unknown rather than fear it. As months turned into years, humanity's place among the stars grew stronger. Aurora * became a legend, its name synonymous with discovery and unity. New ships followed in its wake, carrying diplomats, scientists, and explorers to distant worlds. Joint missions between species became commonplace, each one strengthening the bonds forged during the trial period. Yet challenges still lingered. General Vrax and his faction occasionally caused trouble, attempting to sabotage joint efforts or sow discord. But their actions only reinforced the importance of the framework. Whenever tensions flared, the Galactic Council stood firm, reminding all parties of the progress they'd made. One evening, as Rachel looked out at the stars from Aurora *''s viewport, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Humanity had faced countless obstacles, yet it had persevered. They had stepped onto a stage far larger than anyone dreamed, proving that even the smallest voices could spark change. For Daniel and Laura, the journey was far from over. They knew there were still mysteries to uncover and challenges to overcome. But they also knew they weren't alone. Together with their allies, they would continue exploring the vast expanse of space, driven by the belief that curiosity and courage could bridge even the widest divides. As the galaxy watched humanity take its place among the stars, one thing was clear: the story of Earth's newcomers was just beginning. And though the road ahead held uncertainties, it also brimmed with promise. a brighter future for all who dared to dream. The trial period for the Universal FTL framework began with cautious optimism. Humanity, alongside several key alien species, worked together to implement the proposed regulations. Daniel and Laura spent long hours aboard Aurora *, collaborating with engineers from the Evon Collective and the Krillians to refine the protocols. Their shared goal was clear: ensure that faster-than-light travel remained safe and accessible without tipping the delicate balance of power in the galaxy. Rachel Moore played a central role in coordinating these efforts. She traveled frequently between Earth, Thylos Prime, and other key locations, attending meetings and addressing concerns. Her diplomatic skills were tested daily as she navigated disagreements and mistrust. Some factions, like the Zarnuk Empire, continued to resist the initiative. General Vrax used every opportunity to undermine humanity's involvement, spreading rumors about flaws in the framework and questioning its effectiveness. Despite his hostility, Rachel remained focused on fostering cooperation among those willing to participate. One breakthrough came when Kyra introduced a revolutionary concept: an interstellar monitoring network. This system would track all FTL-capable ships in real time, ensuring compliance with the new rules. It wasn't perfect. Some worried it might infringe on privacy, but most agreed it was a necessary step toward accountability. Daniel and Laura helped design the technology, integrating human innovations with Avon advancements. The result was a hybrid system that earned praise from many delegates. As the trial progressed, signs of success began to emerge. Ships equipped with FTL drives operated smoothly under the new guidelines, and incidents of misuse dropped significantly. Even Zorith, the Krillian leader, admitted during a council meeting that the framework showed promise. "Perhaps humanity's approach has merit," he said, his tone measured but approving. "Time will tell if it can be sustained." But not everyone shared this cautious optimism. General Vrax grew increasingly frustrated as his attempts to discredit the initiative failed. He called for an emergency session of the Galactic Council, demanding stricter scrutiny of humanity's actions. "This is merely a facade," he declared, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Humans cannot be trusted to uphold these standards. They are reckless by nature." His accusations sparked heated debates, dividing the council once again. Tensions flared, and some delegates began to waver in their support. Rachel knew she had to act quickly to preserve the fragile progress they'd made. During the session, she stood before the assembly, her expression calm but determined. "General Vrax raises valid concerns," she began, surprising many with her acknowledgement. "No system is foolproof, and mistakes will happen. But what matters is how we respond to them. Together, we can address challenges as they arise. Turning away from collaboration now only invites chaos." Her words struck a chord with several undecided delegates. Kara added her voice to the discussion, emphasizing the importance of unity. "We've seen what happens when fear dictates our choices," she said. "This framework offers a path forward, a way to build trust rather than walls." Slowly, the tide turned. Though Vrax refused to back down, enough species reaffirmed their commitment to the trial period. Back aboard Aurora *, the crew celebrated the small victory. For Daniel and Laura, it was proof that their hard work was paying off. Yet they knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. General Vrax's opposition remained a threat, and there were still countless uncertainties to face. But for the first time, humanity felt like a true part of something larger, a community striving for understanding and progress. As the stars streaked past the ship's viewport, Rachel reflected on how far they'd come. From a quiet lab on Earth to the heart of galactic diplomacy, humanity had taken bold steps into the unknown. Challenges lay ahead, but she believed in the potential for change. "We're writing history," she told the crew one evening, "and it's up to us to make sure it's a story worth telling." For now, the galaxy watched and waited to see if humanity could rise to the occasion. The proposal to establish a universal framework for regulating FTL technology sparked intense debate across the galaxy. Delegates from various species gathered on Xylos Prime, their opinions divided. Some saw the idea as a bold step toward unity, while others viewed it as naive or even dangerous. Rachel Moore stood at the center of it all, her presence calm but resolute as she addressed the council. "Fear has kept us apart for too long," Rachel said, her voice steady. "We have an opportunity to change that, to work together instead of against one another. Humanity isn't asking for control, we're asking for cooperation." Her words echoed through the chamber, met with a mix of nods and skeptical glances. Zorath, the Krillian leader, watched her closely, his expression thoughtful. General Vrax, however, remained unmoved, his arms crossed tightly over his chest. Kyra, the Avon scientist, stepped forward to support Rachel's case. "This proposal isn't just about humanity," she explained. "It's about setting a standard for all of us. If we can agree on how to use this technology responsibly, we'll create a safer future for everyone." Her endorsement carried weight, especially among more neutral factions like the Avon Collective and the Terran Merchants. They began discussing ways to refine the plan, focusing on practical safeguards and shared oversight. But not everyone was swayed. The Zarnuk Empire continued to oppose the idea, with Vrax leading the charge. "Humans are still children playing with fire," he argued. "They've already caused chaos by revealing their technology. Why should we trust them to help govern ours?" His rhetoric stirred fear in some delegates, particularly those who valued order above all else. Tensions rose as the discussion dragged on, threatening to derail progress entirely. Rachel knew she needed to address Vrax's concerns directly. During a break in the session, she approached him cautiously. "General," she began, choosing her words carefully, "I understand your fears. But isolation hasn't made us safer. It's only widened the gaps between us. Working together could prevent mistakes before they happen." Vrax studied her for a moment, his sharp eyes narrowing. "Words are easy," he replied coldly. "Actions will prove whether you're sincere." Back aboard Aurora *, Daniel and Laura worked tirelessly to strengthen the proposal. They collaborated with Kyra to include technical details that demonstrated humanity's commitment to safety. Together, they outlined protocols for monitoring FTL drives, ensuring no ship could operate without proper authorization. They also suggested forming a joint task force, made up of representatives from multiple species, to oversee implementation. When the revised proposal was presented, it earned cautious approval from several key factions. Even Zorath acknowledged its potential, though he warned that full acceptance would take time. "Your intentions seem genuine," he told Rachel privately. "But trust must be earned, not given freely." She nodded, understanding the gravity of his words. "We're ready to earn it," she replied. Despite these advances, resistance lingered. Vrax refused to back down, vowing to block any agreement that included humanity. His defiance worried Rachel, but she refused to let it overshadow the progress they'd made. "We can't win everyone over," she told the crew during a quiet moment. "But if enough species believe in this, we can move forward." As weeks passed, the Galactic Council reached a tentative decision: a trial period for the proposed framework, during which humanity would collaborate closely with other civilizations to test its effectiveness. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start, a chance to prove that unity was possible. For Daniel and Laura, the trial represented both hope and pressure. Their work had opened doors no one expected, bringing humanity closer to joining the galactic community. Yet they understood the stakes. Failure could mean rejection, or worse, conflict. Still, they pressed on, driven by the belief that curiosity and courage could bridge even the widest divides. The galaxy held its breath, watching to see what humanity would do next. And aboard Aurora *, the crew prepared for the challenges ahead, knowing their journey was far from over. The days following the second tour aboard Aurora marked a turning point for humanity's standing in the galaxy. While not all delegates left fully convinced, many began to see humans in a new light. Rachel's transparency and vulnerability had resonated with some, softening their earlier suspicions. Slowly, whispers of collaboration replaced accusations of recklessness. For Daniel and Laura, this shift was both encouraging and humbling. They realized that building trust wasn't just about proving the safety of their technology. It was about showing humility and a willingness to listen. Kyra played a crucial role during this time. Her continued support provided a bridge between humanity and the wider galactic community. One evening, as she worked alongside Daniel and Laura in the engine room, she revealed something unexpected. Many advanced civilizations have developed FTL capabilities, she admitted quietly. But they keep it hidden to avoid upsetting the balance of power. The revelation stunned the two scientists. Why would they do that? Laura asked, her voice tinged with disbelief. Kyra sighed. Because fear often outweighs curiosity. Some believe secrecy is safer than openness. Daniel frowned, processing what this meant. So we're not the first, he said slowly. But we're the first to share it openly. Kyra nodded. Exactly. And that's why others are so uneasy. You've disrupted centuries of careful control. Despite the weight of her words, there was admiration in her tone. Humanity's boldness, though risky, had sparked conversations long avoided. Rachel saw an opportunity in Kyra's revelation. If other species already possessed FTL technology, then perhaps humanity could propose a collaborative effort, a universal framework to regulate its use. She shared the idea with Daniel and Laura, who immediately recognized its potential. It's worth trying, Daniel said. If we can get everyone on board, it might ease tensions and prevent misuse. Laura agreed, adding, and it shows we're thinking beyond ourselves. With Kyra's guidance, Rachel drafted a proposal outlining the plan. It emphasized transparency, shared responsibility, and mutual benefit. She knew presenting it wouldn't be easy. Factions like the Zarnok Empire were unlikely to agree without resistance. Still, she believed it was humanity's best chance to lead by example. When the proposal reached the Galactic Council on Silos Prime, reactions were mixed. Zorath listened intently, his expression unreadable. General Vrax, however, erupted in anger. This is nonsense, he bellowed, slamming his fist on the table. Humans cannot be trusted to enforce such rules when they barely understand the consequences of their own actions. His outburst drew murmurs of agreement from some, but others remained silent, considering the merits of the idea. Kyra stepped forward to speak, her calm demeanor cutting through the tension. Humanity has shown courage by sharing their discovery, she said. They've invited us to work together rather than compete. Isn't that what true progress looks like? Her words struck a chord with several delegates, including Zorath, who exchanged a glance with his advisors. Back aboard Aurora *, Rachel waited anxiously for feedback. Days passed before an official response arrived. To her relief, the council agreed to consider the proposal, though only after extensive debate and revisions. It wasn't a complete victory, but it was a step forward, a fragile thread of hope in a web of uncertainty. As the crew celebrated the small win, they couldn't ignore the challenges ahead. General Vrax's hostility lingered, a reminder that not everyone welcomed humanity's rise. Yet Rachel felt a renewed sense of purpose. We've planted a seed, she told the team. Now we have to nurture it. Together, they prepared for the next phase of diplomacy, knowing that every decision mattered in shaping humanity's place among the stars. For now, the galaxy watched and waited to see if Earth's newcomers could rise to the occasion. The aftermath of the sabotage weighed heavily on the crew of Aurora. Rachel knew they needed to act quickly to regain trust, but the task felt daunting. Accusations were spreading across the galaxy, fueled by fear and misinformation. Many alien species now viewed humanity's FTL technology as unstable or even dangerous. If they didn't address these concerns soon, the damage could become irreversible. Determined to salvage the situation, Rachel turned to Kira for help. The Avum scientist had stayed aboard after the failed demonstration, offering her expertise to repair the damaged systems. Over the next few days, Kyra worked closely with Daniel and Laura, sharing insights into advanced engineering techniques that even surprised the seasoned human scientists. Her calm presence brought a sense of stability to the shaken crew. "You've made remarkable progress," Kyra told them one evening as they reviewed repairs. "But trust is built not just through words, it must be shown." Inspired by her advice, Rachel came up with a bold plan. She decided to invite key delegates back aboard Aurora *, not for another formal presentation, but for an open and transparent look at the ship's inner workings. This time, there would be no scripted speeches or polished displays. Instead, the visitors would see everything: the flaws, the challenges, and the hard work required to make FTL travel possible. When the day arrived, a smaller group of aliens returned to the ship, their expressions cautious but curious. Among them was Zorith, the Krillian leader, who had agreed to attend despite his earlier doubts. Rachel greeted him personally, extending a hand in goodwill. "Thank you for coming," she said sincerely. "We want to show you the truth, not just what we hope you'll see, but what really goes into making this technology work." Daniel and Laura led the tour, guiding the delegates through the engine room and explaining each component in detail. They admitted the difficulties they faced during development and acknowledged the risks involved. "This isn't perfect," Laura admitted, pointing to a section of the drive still under repair. "But we're learning every day. That's why we need collaboration, to make it safer for everyone." Kyra stepped in at times to translate complex concepts into terms the visitors could understand. Her involvement seemed to ease some of the tension, as many respected her impartiality. Slowly, the atmosphere shifted from suspicion to curiosity. Even Zorith appeared less guarded, asking thoughtful questions about the safeguards built into the system. As the tour concluded, Rachel gathered everyone in the ship's main chamber. Standing before them, she spoke from the heart. "I know mistakes have been made, and I won't deny that we're still figuring things out. But we're not your enemies. We're explorers, dreamers, and learners, just like you. What we've achieved wasn't meant to divide us. It was meant to bring us closer together. Let us prove that to you." Her honesty struck a chord with several delegates. One of the Terran merchants nodded approvingly. "Perhaps there is more to your kind than we assumed," he said. Others remained silent, their thoughts unclear, but the mood had softened noticeably. Still, General Vrax of the Zarnuk Empire saw the event differently. Reports reached him of the renewed efforts to win over skeptics, and he grew angrier. "They're manipulating opinions," he snarled to his advisors. "If diplomacy fails, then force will succeed." His resolve hardened, setting the stage for future conflict. For now, though, Rachel allowed herself a small measure of hope. Trust wouldn't come overnight, but the seeds had been planted. Humanity's journey among the stars was far from over, and neither were its challenges. The next morning, Aurora's crew prepared for the ship's tour with careful attention to detail. Rachel wanted everything to go smoothly, knowing that this was a critical moment for humanity's reputation. Daniel and Laura worked together to set up displays explaining the science behind the FTL drive, using simple language and visuals to make it accessible to visitors. They even created holographic simulations showing how the technology bent space-time without causing harm. As alien delegates began arriving, the mood aboard Aurora was a mix of excitement and tension. Some guests were clearly intrigued, asking thoughtful questions about the ship's systems. Others remained guarded, their expressions unreadable. Rachel greeted each group warmly, doing her best to put them at ease. "We're here to learn from one another," she said repeatedly, emphasizing humanity's desire for collaboration over competition. Among the visitors was Kyra, the Avon scientist who had spoken in favor of humanity during the meeting on Silos Prime. She approached Rachel with a gentle smile. "Your efforts are appreciated," Kyra said softly. "Many of us see value in what you're trying to achieve." Rachel felt a wave of relief hearing this. She invited Kira to stay longer, hoping to build a stronger connection with someone sympathetic to their cause. Things seemed to be going well until midway through the tour. Without warning, Alarms blared throughout the ship. Lights flickered, and several systems went offline. Panic spread among the visitors as they realized something was wrong. Daniel rushed to the control panel, his fingers flying over the keys. "It's the core," he shouted. "Someone tampered with the FTL drive." Laura joined him, scanning diagnostics for clues. It didn't take long to find evidence of sabotage, a small device hidden deep within the engine compartment. Whoever planted it had done so carefully, ensuring it would only activate during the demonstration. The timing couldn't have been more deliberate. Rachel quickly took charge, addressing the gathered aliens. "Please remain calm," she said firmly, raising her hands to quiet the growing murmurs. "This is not an attack by us. It's an attempt to discredit us." Her words did little to reassure the crowd. Many began leaving hastily, muttering accusations under their breath. Zorath, the Krillian leader, stepped forward, his expression grim. "You must understand why this raises doubts," he said. "How can we trust your technology if it cannot even be secured?" Kyra stayed behind, offering quiet support as the crew worked to contain the damage. With her help, Daniel and Laura managed to stabilize the ship's systems before any serious harm occurred. But the incident left a stain on the day's events. As the last visitors departed, Rachel sank into a chair, frustration etched on her face. "Whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing," she muttered. Later, while reviewing security footage, the crew discovered glimpses of a cloaked figure moving through restricted areas just before the sabotage. Though the image was blurry, it confirmed their suspicions. This was no accident. Someone, or some group, was actively working against them. Back on Earth, news of the incident reached global leaders, sparking debates about whether humanity should continue its outreach efforts. Critics argued that pushing too hard, too fast, might provoke hostility. Supporters countered that backing down now would only validate those who doubted humanity's place in the galaxy. Despite the setback, Rachel refused to give up. "We can't let fear dictate our actions," she told the crew. "If anything, this proves why we need allies. Alone, we're vulnerable. Together, we stand a chance." Her determination inspired Daniel and Laura, reminding them of why they had started this journey in the first place. Though shadows loomed ahead, the crew of Aurora remained resolute. They knew the path to acceptance wouldn't be easy, but they also believed that perseverance could turn suspicion into understanding, and perhaps even trust. The Aurora set course for its first diplomatic stop, a neutral trade station called Nexus 7. This bustling hub was a meeting point for dozens of species, making it an ideal location to ease tensions and demonstrate humanity's peaceful intentions. Rachel Moore spent hours preparing for the visit, reviewing cultural notes on the various alien races she might encounter. She knew that even small gestures could make a big difference in how humanity was perceived. As the ship approached Nexus 7, Daniel and Laura stood by in the control room, watching as the massive structure came into view. It looked like a giant web of interconnected platforms, glowing with lights from countless ships docked at its edges. The sight filled them with awe, but also anxiety. They were no longer just scientists. They were ambassadors representing all of Earth. When Aurora docked, the crew stepped onto the station, greeted by curious stares from aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some had sleek, insect-like bodies, while others resembled towering, crystalline forms. A few whispered among themselves, pointing at the humans. Rachel walked ahead confidently, her posture calm and composed. She smiled warmly at those who met her gaze, hoping to convey openness and goodwill. Their first meeting was with a group of merchants from the Terran Collective, a species known for their love of trade and diplomacy. The Terrans had smooth blue skin and large, expressive eyes that seemed to take in everything around them. Their leader, a tall individual named Valen, welcomed Rachel and her team with cautious curiosity. "We have heard much about your kind," he said, his voice soft but firm. "Tell us, why do you seek to travel so quickly?" Rachel took a deep breath before responding. "Our goal is simple: Exploration. We wish to learn more about the universe and share what we discover with others. She gestured toward Daniel and Laura. These two helped create the technology that powers our ship. We believe it can benefit everyone, not just us. Valen tilted his head thoughtfully. And yet, many fear your intentions. How can we trust you will use this power wisely? His question hung in the air, heavy with meaning. Rachel hesitated only briefly before answering. Trust must be earned, and we are here to begin that process. We invite you to examine our technology and see for yourselves that it poses no threat. Word of Aurora Asterisk's presence spread quickly through the station, drawing larger crowds. Some visitors were friendly, asking questions about Earth and its culture. Others remained distant, their expressions unreadable. Among the observers was a shadowy figure who watched silently from the edge of the crowd. He wore a dark cloak, concealing his identity, and slipped away unnoticed when Rachel glanced in his direction. Later that evening, the crew gathered in Aurora Asterisk's conference room to discuss the day's events. It went better than I expected, Rachel admitted, leaning back in her chair. But there's still skepticism. Many don't believe we're being completely honest. Daniel nodded. Can you blame them? From their perspective, we're newcomers with dangerous tech. Laura chimed in, her tone thoughtful. Maybe we should offer something tangible, proof that we want to work together. Like sharing part of our research or inviting them aboard for a demonstration. Rachel considered the idea. It was risky, but it might help build trust. Let's do it, she decided. Tomorrow, we'll host a tour of the ship and show them how the FTL drive works. Unbeknownst to the crew, their plans were already compromised. The cloaked figure who had been watching them earlier reported back to his employer, a faction within the Zarnak Empire determined to sabotage humanity's efforts. General Vrax listened intently as the spy detailed Aurora Asterisk's upcoming demonstration. A sly smile crossed his face. This is our chance, he said coldly. If we disrupt their event, it will prove my point. Humans cannot handle such responsibility. Back on Aurora Asterisk, Rachel prepared for the next day's activities, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. Despite the challenges ahead, she felt hopeful. Humanity had taken its first steps into a wider galaxy, and though the road was uncertain, she believed in the potential for understanding and cooperation. For now, that belief was enough to keep her moving forward. The news of humanity's faster-than-light travel spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Within days, the story of Aurora reached every corner of known space. Alien species who had never paid much attention to Earth suddenly found themselves discussing the small blue planet with growing unease. The Krillians shared their encounter with other civilizations, and soon, whispers about humanity's mysterious technology filled interstellar communication networks. On Silos Prime, a massive floating city that served as a hub for diplomacy and trade, delegates from various species gathered to discuss the situation. The atmosphere was tense. Some argued that humanity's breakthrough was a threat to galactic stability, while others saw it as an opportunity for progress. Zorath, the Krillian leader, addressed the assembly with measured words. This new development challenges everything we thought we knew about balance in the galaxy, he said. We must decide how to respond before it is too late. General Vrax of the Zarnak Empire wasted no time voicing his concerns. A tall, imposing figure with armor that gleamed menacingly under the artificial lights, he stood up to speak. His voice boomed through the chamber. Humans are reckless, he declared. They have unleashed a power they do not fully understand. If left unchecked, they could disrupt the delicate order we have maintained for centuries. Many nodded in agreement, especially those from militaristic factions. But not everyone shared Vrax's fears. Kyra, a scientist from the Avon Collective, offered a different perspective. Her soft voice carried wisdom and calmness. Perhaps we should view this as a chance to learn, she suggested. Humanity has achieved something remarkable. Instead of fearing them, why not collaborate? Together, we can ensure their technology is used responsibly. Though her words resonated with some, others dismissed her as overly idealistic. Back on Aurora *, Rachel Moore worked tirelessly to manage the growing scrutiny. She knew that humanity's actions would define its reputation among alien civilizations. With Daniel and Laura by her side, she drafted messages of reassurance to send to nearby species. They emphasized humanity's peaceful intentions and willingness to cooperate, but skepticism lingered. Many aliens struggled to believe that humans, a species still so young compared to others, could wield such advanced technology responsibly. Meanwhile, Earth itself became a focal point of galactic attention. Probes from distant civilizations began appearing in Earth's orbit, studying the planet and its people. Governments scrambled to address the sudden influx of visitors. Some humans were thrilled at the prospect of meeting extraterrestrial life, while others grew fearful. Conspiracy theories flourished online, with some claiming the aliens were planning an invasion. Military forces around the world went on high alert, though no hostile acts had been reported. Rachel decided it was time to take action. She proposed sending Aurora to visit several key civilizations, hoping to ease tensions through direct communication. "We need to show them we're not a threat," she told Daniel and Laura during a private meeting. "If we stay hidden or avoid contact, they'll only grow more suspicious." Both scientists agreed, though they couldn't shake their nerves about venturing further into unknown territory. As preparations for the diplomatic mission began, rumors of sabotage started circulating back on Earth. Experimental ships designed using similar FTL technology experienced unexplained malfunctions. Engineers reported finding strange devices attached to critical systems, suggesting someone, or something, was trying to undermine humanity's progress. Investigations were launched, but no concrete evidence emerged. The incidents added to the growing sense of unease among world leaders. Despite these challenges, Rachel remained determined. She believed that humanity's future depended on forging alliances rather than fostering fear. As Aurora prepared to leave for its next destination, she looked out at the stars, wondering what lay ahead. Would humanity be welcomed as equals, or rejected as dangerous newcomers? The answers were uncertain, but one thing was clear. The galaxy was watching, and every move mattered. Daniel and Laura joined Rachel on the bridge, staring at the vast expanse of space beyond the viewport. For all its beauty, it now felt daunting. Humanity had stepped onto a stage far larger than anyone had imagined, and the spotlight was intense. Yet amid the uncertainty, there was hope, a fragile but powerful belief that curiosity and courage could bridge even the widest divides. The sudden appearance of Aurora near Proxima Centauri did not go unnoticed. The Krillians, a cautious and highly advanced species, had been monitoring the region for years. When their sensors detected the strange vessel materializing out of nowhere, alarms blared across their fleet. Zorath, the leader of the Krillian Council, was immediately summoned to assess the situation. He stood in the command center of their flagship, his sharp eyes scanning the data streaming in from their probes. "What is this?" Zorath asked, his voice calm but tinged with suspicion. His advisors exchanged worried glances before one of them stepped forward. "It's a ship, sir, but not like any we've seen before. Its energy signature matches no known technology in our databases." Zorath frowned. The Krillians prided themselves on their vast knowledge of the galaxy, yet here was something completely unfamiliar. It unsettled him. Meanwhile, aboard Aurora Daniel and Laura were oblivious to the attention they had drawn. They were busy analyzing the results of their test flight, confirming that the FTL drive had performed as expected. Back on Earth, news outlets were buzzing with excitement. Images of Aurora*'s successful jump dominated headlines, and people around the world celebrated humanity's leap into the stars. But the celebration was short-lived. The Krillians dispatched a small envoy to investigate. Their sleek, silver ships approached Aurora cautiously, scanning it for weapons or signs of hostility. When the Krillians attempted to communicate, Daniel and Laura scrambled to respond. Neither of them spoke alien languages, but the ship's AI translated the incoming message into English. "Identify yourselves," came the stern voice over the comms. Laura hesitated for a moment before replying. "This is Aurora *, a human spacecraft. We come in peace." Back on Earth, the United Nations convened an emergency meeting to discuss the unexpected contact. Rachel Moore, a seasoned diplomat known for her calm demeanor under pressure, was chosen to handle communications with the Krillians. She quickly boarded a shuttle bound for Aurora *, knowing that humanity's first impression would shape its future among the stars. As she traveled, reports began flooding in about other alien civilizations reacting to the news of Earth's FTL breakthrough. Some species were intrigued, eager to learn more about humanity's achievement. Others, however, were deeply concerned. The Avon Collective, a group of pacifist aliens who valued balance and harmony, expressed cautious optimism. They saw potential in collaborating with humans, believing that shared knowledge could benefit everyone. On the other hand, the Zarnuk Empire, a militaristic race notorious for its aggressive expansion, viewed humanity's newfound ability as a threat. General Vrax, a high-ranking officer within the Empire, argued that humans could destabilize the galactic order if left unchecked. As Rachel arrived on Aurora *, she found Daniel and Laura overwhelmed by the attention. "We didn't think anyone would notice so soon," Laura admitted, running a hand through her hair. Rachel nodded, understanding their predicament. "That's why I'm here," she said firmly. "We need to show them we're not a danger. We're explorers, just like them." Rachel worked closely with the crew to craft a diplomatic response to the Krillians. Using the ship's communication systems, she addressed Zoreth directly. "We are aware of your concerns," she said, choosing her words carefully. "But I assure you, humanity seeks only to explore and understand the universe. Our technology is still in its early stages, and we welcome the opportunity to share what we've learned." Zoreth listened intently, his expression unreadable. After a long pause, he replied, "Your actions have caused great unease among my people. You must prove your intentions are peaceful." With that, the Krillian ships withdrew, leaving Aurora * alone once again. Though the encounter ended without violence, it was clear that humanity's arrival on the galactic stage had sparked both curiosity and fear. As Rachel turned to face the crew, she knew their journey was far from over. The galaxy was watching, and humanity's next steps would determine whether they were accepted or rejected by the wider cosmos. In a quiet corner of the galaxy, humanity had been working tirelessly to unlock the secrets of the universe. For centuries, scientists on Earth dreamed of traveling faster than light, a feat once thought impossible. Among these dreamers was Daniel Carter, a brilliant astrophysicist who spent most of his days in a small lab at NASA's Deep Space Research Facility. His work was driven by curiosity and a desire to push the boundaries of human knowledge. Alongside him was Laura Bennett, a talented engineer with a knack for solving complex problems. Together, they formed the heart of Project Horizon, a top-secret initiative aimed at cracking the mysteries of faster-than-light travel. The lab was always alive with activity. Computers hummed, monitors displayed streams of data, and whiteboards were covered in equations. Daniel and Laura worked long hours, fueled by coffee and determination. Their breakthrough came unexpectedly one evening when Daniel noticed something unusual in their calculations. He called Laura over, pointing to a series of numbers that didn't quite add up. At first, they thought it was an error, but as they dug deeper, they realized they had stumbled upon something extraordinary, a method to manipulate space-time itself. Laura's eyes widened as she processed the implications. "Do you realize what this means?" she asked, her voice trembling with excitement. Daniel nodded slowly, still trying to wrap his mind around it. If their theory was correct, they could create a bubble of warped space around a ship, allowing it to move faster than light without violating the laws of physics. It sounded like science fiction, but the math checked out. Word of their discovery spread quickly through the scientific community. At first, only a handful of colleagues knew about it, but soon higher authorities caught wind of the project. The government stepped in, providing additional funding and resources. News of the breakthrough reached the public, sparking both excitement and skepticism. Some hailed it as the greatest achievement in human history, while others warned of unforeseen consequences. Protesters gathered outside NASA headquarters, holding signs that read, "Don't play God," and "What about the risks?" Despite the controversy, Daniel and Laura pressed on. They knew the potential benefits outweighed the risks. Faster-than-light travel could open up the stars to humanity, allowing them to explore distant worlds and make contact with alien civilizations. But they also understood the dangers. If their technology fell into the wrong hands or malfunctioned, it could cause catastrophic damage. The day finally came when they were ready to test their prototype. A sleek spacecraft, named Aurora*, stood on the launch pad, gleaming under the sun. It was smaller than most rockets, designed for speed rather than size. Inside, advanced systems hummed softly, ready to bend the fabric of space. As the countdown began, Daniel and Laura watched from the control room, their hearts pounding with anticipation. This was the moment they had worked toward for years. When the engines roared to life and Aurora* vanished in a flash of light, the entire team erupted in cheers. Moments later, the ship reappeared near Proxima Centauri, a feat that would have taken decades using traditional methods. It was a historic moment, one that would change everything. But as the celebrations continued on Earth, no one realized the ripple effect their invention had created. In the vast expanse of space, other civilizations were watching, and they weren't sure what to make of humanity's sudden leap forward.